Hello, everybody. This is Lana Elko, and this is an interview. Today, we have an interview with amazing, a powerful, radiant woman, a mother of 8 children, a business owner, a healer, and Nathalie Bowman. And she does retreats in Grand Canyon, and she does lots of creative work and healing work. So I'm so excited to have you, Nathalie, today. And I'm so excited to explore and learn more about your journey. Because for me, it's super fascinating to know you and to know that, in my country, I'm from Ukraine, like having 8 kids, the government gives women medals and they're heroines. So I have so much admiration for you and your journey. So welcome,
Thank
Nathalie.
you. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to share and hope that I can create some value for your friends around the world and here locally as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Nathalie, could you share with us your life journey? Beforehand, I want to ask you a question about how it feels to be a mother of 8 kids and how you make it, because for me it is just unbelievable. And I know for many women, modern women around the world, this is it's hard to imagine how you can handle that and still be in your power and still run your business and still create and being such a radiant person. So could you just share with us your journey and how it feels, how to be in your shoes?
Yes, I would love to. So I want to start with a quick story about when I was in 3rd grade. And what is that? Oh, that would be my little girl, Jenny. She's 8 now, and she's in 3rd grade. So I guess I must have been around that age, 7 or 8. And our teacher asked us what we wanted to be when we grow up. So we're supposed to draw a picture. She's going to hang it on the wall. What do we want to be when we grow up? And I couldn't think of anything except housewife. So I drew a picture of a woman holding a broom, like sweeping the floor, because that's what you do, right? Sweep the floor. I went up to my teacher and I said, "How do you spell wife?" I knew how to spell house. I didn't know how to put them together. So how do you spell wife? And she said, "You can't be that." Yeah, I wanted anyway. So that's all I wanted, even when I was in 3rd grade. I don't remember the end of the story if she told me how to spell it or not, but I knew I was going to be a housewife. I couldn't. What I really wanted was to be a mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my mom, she cleaned a lot, so that's all I could picture and associate with was that our house was always clean and she had a broom. So ever since I was little, I wanted to be a mom. Now, I didn't realize that I would have 8 children. I didn't ever dream that. It just kind of happened that way. And it's been an interesting journey. At the beginning, I taught my kids at home and we homeschooled and I loved that. And then my parents were divorced. I have sexual abuse in my background. I had when I was a child, and I have a lot of really traumatic things that many of us have been through, that I've been through as well. So when my daughter, our oldest daughter, kind of became the age of when I was abused, then I started freaking out. My brain went weird because all of a sudden I was associating with, I was afraid for my daughter and her life, and I didn't want her to get hurt like I was. And so I went into a really crazy depression and anxiety and even suicidal a little bit. But then I knew that I didn't want to take prescription medications. I knew I just needed some healing. And so I went on a journey to figure that out. And it's been really amazing. So for the last 12 years, so I've been on that healing journey. And how do I manage it all? Well, when they were all,
share our secrets.
I did not have a business. I just did kids, but our oldest is almost 25 and we have 5 children at home now. So for the past 5 years or so, I've been working hard. Well, I guess I've been doing healing work for 10 years, but it's how do I manage it all? Well, really the secret is the older kids help you take care of the younger kids. So you don't have to do it all.
That's a great, great trick.
But
Yes.
there is a certain family dynamic where we all pitch in, but it is a lot of mental energy, and and I'm not super mom, I'm not superwoman. It's just my path. And it's just what we chose to do. And I've learned a lot. I've learned about sacrifice and love and understanding, and I'm still not the best mom on the planet. I still don't have all the answers because each child is different. But whatever we choose for our life path, whether it's 8 kids or 1 kid, 1 child, or no children, it's just a matter of how are we focusing to continue to keep our light to shine, so that we can feel fulfilled and happy, and we can help and other people feel the same.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So can I ask you another questions about having so many kids?
Sure.
So my question would be, because like I have just 1 daughter, so and I feel it takes a lot to be a mom, even for 1 child. So for me, I'm really curious about how do you give all the children like equal amount of attention, and like you said, each child is different. How do you know? For me, it's like, wow, you need like 8 times more of time, right? How do you manage that? Like, how do you balance the attention to all the kids so they feel like loved and involved and like receive the attention?
That's a great question. We have a lot of family time, so we play games together and things like that as a group. And with 2 or 3 kids here, or 2 or 3 kids, at another time. And so I actually probably should really do better at that, because I don't have a system where I go on a date with each child, every month or something. I don't do as much of that, because it's so much and it's so big. So I manage it in the little moments, making sure that I give everyone eye contact when we're talking. I put my phone down, make sure that we're one-on-one, and I'm giving them encouraging words and positive touch and things like that. So it's more of a throughout the day, throughout all of our interactions, and when we have family time or smaller, playing games or whatever, then I'm really present with all of them, even if it's 2 or 3 or 4 of us together, just making sure that, because I think those things are equally important, that personal eye contact, that personal understanding, so they know that they can trust me and I love them and all of that good stuff.
Wow, that's amazing. It's really important. I love that you like saying that, because eye contact is the most connecting. It's like soul gazing, right? This connects to somebody's soul. When we have that means we do have that personal connection and understanding what's going on, right, with them.
Right.
Yeah, beautiful. So what would be your speaking, like kind of wrapping up about the children, because I want to talk about other things with you as well. What would be your biggest the most powerful parenting advice based on your experience?
The most powerful parenting advice?
Yeah.
Be present. Whatever that looks like. If all you can do is just maybe take a walk around the block for 10 minutes with 1 child, do that one thing. If you're put your phone down and be present, so that they know, like I said, the eye contact, I think, is probably one of the very most important things, because if they know you're listening and you can validate their feelings, if they're crying or upset or frustrated about their day, instead of trying to fix their emotions and don't be angry, don't be upset, you're okay. No, they're not okay. As adults, we're not okay too. And we have to have that space to be not okay and to mourn or to be upset or to work through whatever's going on. So just because my child is 8 and in 3rd grade and somebody was unkind to her, I don't say, you're okay. I say, that was hard, wasn't it? How did that make you feel? So looking them in the eye, validating their feelings, and then maybe after they feel validated and calm, then maybe help them understand how they could navigate it next time. and ask them questions about that. So really just looking them in the eye, validating their experiences so they know they're loved.
Wow, this is huge. This is huge. I'm totally so much with you, because we all received this support in our childhood, how much our life will change. I think it's fundamental. So thank you so much for sharing, and such an amazing mom and a role model. Like for me, you're a role model, like a great mother, like great mother archetype.
Yes. Thank you. I'm not super mom, but I try.
You're super mom in my eyes, for sure.
People say I'm super mom because I have 8 kids, and I'm like, well, I had a strong body. I can, I birthed 8 children, and I did it all naturally. I have a strong body, but it doesn't mean that I always had a strong mind. It doesn't mean that I've always been perfect and that I haven't made huge mistakes also, but it's okay acknowledging our mistakes and knowing that there's more, there's better, and we get to just keep going, and we will find it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not about trying to be perfect, because that journey doesn't bring us anywhere except like these loops of guilt and shame that we're not good enough, right?
Right.
But embracing everything and acknowledging and growing, that's a completely different journey. And I would like to learn more about your healing journey, and what have you done to heal those wounds that you mentioned, like sexual abuse and all other things that you feel were really hard, and also how did you make it through the darkest times, depression and anxiety, and that I know you shared that, so that's why I bring it up. So that would be really helpful for us to understand and see you as a role model while having so many responsibilities, while having so much work, and supporting your children, and still doing this healing work on yourself and still growing. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so I started to dive into this darkness when I was pregnant with my 7th baby. And so, and if you've ever been pregnant before, you know that it's a difficult space to be in emotionally and physically anyway, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And I thought he was our last child, but then our little girl, she was like, no, wait for me. I'm still coming. But, but yeah, it was at first it was, I don't know, I've dealt with a lot of anger for a lot of years anyway. Even prior to that, a lot of bursts of temper and yelling and things like that. I'm like so embarrassed to even say that, because I'm like, oh, but I know there are other people that can relate, and and hopefully it doesn't make me a bad person, right? We get to keep moving forward.
It makes you real, real.
Yeah. So I had a lot of that coming in, and I just remember being pregnant and like not knowing that I could not keep going, but I had to, because I had this baby that and then I had 6 other kids, and it was really dark and really difficult. I didn't know how to navigate it. I knew that, like I said, I couldn't just get on prescriptions and cover it up, because I knew there were really hard things in my past that had been buried, that I had just kind of, not dealt with, and just I was really blessed to be able to just handle my life and be a pretty good mom up until that point. And then I just started researching and figuring out and going to classes and trying to go to other healers. And I remember the first person that I went to, he was really critical in my path at that time. And I worked with him for 18 different sessions, and he helped me. And he always said the exact right words. He always knew exactly what I needed to hear. He knew what was going on inside me emotionally. And I thought, I could never do that, but that's so cool. How do you know that about me? And then within like a year after that, I started doing that same thing for other people. So even through the depression, it was a catalyst for my own healing gifts, and God kind of gave me the ability to put my own stuff aside while I was helping other people, and literally that that kind of kept me alive, just because I had a reason to keep going, to continue to help other people. And I felt pretty useless at home, even though I had all these kids that I needed to take care of. I was still taking care of them, but I didn't feel like I was doing a very good job. And I didn't feel like I could, like, because of my situation with my mother and my stepmom, which I don't have time to go into, but I didn't feel like I really knew what love was. So my quest was to find out what I needed to fill myself with love so I could give it to others. And now I feel like, now that I'm on the other side of that, I think there's some truth to that, but I think we've maybe focused too much on, I have to learn to love myself. I have to learn to love myself. It may not be as much about self-love as it is self-acceptance for where we are now. This is where I'm at. And the big key for me was just knowing that there was still a flame in my heart. Like, there's still some little, I can't take myself out. I have these kids. I have to be able to relight that flame and figure out what ignites it. Because I knew, going back in my life, I knew there was a time when I was happy. I knew there were things that ignited me and brought that joy. I just couldn't see it then. And so that was my guiding space, was like, there's got to be a way that I can get back into enjoying life, even on the, I mean, there were dark days when I wouldn't admit that, and all I wanted was off the planet many times. But underneath and subconsciously, that's what kept me going. And I didn't have a whole lot, like, I don't have family in the state or anything, so I didn't really have a whole lot of people. I was kind of alone in my journey, not a huge support system outside of myself, but I did have God guiding me to that place. And so going through all that, I understand now how to manage, that there's a better place that we can all be at, and regardless of how dark it gets, there's always hope.
Yeah, absolutely. This is so inspiring to hear. And I would like to learn more about how you discovered your gift, right? You discovered that gift, that flame in your soul, that, you know, now you're like such a radiant person and such a powerful woman, right? And how do you help others? Like, what kind of work do you offer to others? What kind of services that helps them to go through these dark times?
Thank you. So when I first started learning, it actually came really easy, just because I wanted to learn so much. And I love learning. I love eating things, you know, I'm just eating things up, constantly reading and learning. And so I was a little bit nervous, just because it was such uncharted territory. I'd never heard of this stuff before. I was, you know, it was weird, but I knew it was helping me, and I knew it could help others. And so I just stepped forward and took some classes and learned about it. And now, after 12 years of experience, I'm kind of a ninja superpower. My superpower is to be able to, whatever you're struggling with, I can talk to you in just a couple minutes, and I see visually in my head. So it's a transformational experience in an hour, where we have a conversation over the phone or over Zoom, and we talk about it. And my clients will tell me what they're struggling with, and then I just take some deep breaths and I tune into their energy. I don't know how it works, but I don't know how my cell phone works either, right? But we're all together connected on this planet. So even if you're in another part of the world, in Germany or wherever, and I've had clients in Slovenia and Germany and all over. And so as long as we're connected, then I can tune in and feel what's going on with you, and and see and understand where that negative is coming from, whether it's just yours or whether it's come down from a family pattern. And then we can totally rearrange and pull out the negative from your body and soul and create a whole new foundation to operate from, so you see yourself differently, and it's a complete new foundation of that self-acceptance that we talked about earlier, with some keys and strategies to be able to move forward And so that's the way the healing works, is first we have to understand what is the negative that we don't even know. It's like this computer program that's running in the background. We don't even know what it's telling us, but that's why we respond to people negatively, or situations with fear, or because of this program inside. So then we figure out what that program is, and we decide we want a new one. Like, are we done? Yes, we're done, right? We don't need that anymore. And so we find the new program, we decide what we want the new program to be, and we integrate it into your body and soul, and you feel it on all layers and levels, and reconnect with your highest soul in heaven, and reconnect with the earth, and be grounded as a human, and accepting that space here on this planet, and then having this whole beautiful new path in front of you to keep moving forward with.
Amazing, amazing. I'm like already feeling this energy. Oh my God. Yeah. I feel like what you shared is like a lot of like intuitive work, that you connect with energy, that it's like in the moment, being like 100% present with people, and you kind of read the energy, connect with their soul.
Absolutely.
And that is like part of our feminine power, right? So I would like to ask you a little bit more, what does feminine mean for you, and what does feminine power mean for you, and how you utilize it in your work?
So I'm just going to tell that story, a little story from a couple of weeks ago that illustrates perfectly what feminine power means to me. And everybody, I think there's definitely an overall feminine power, but I love also how unique that feminine power shows up in each person. And so for you to be able to discover what is your feminine superpower is awesome. And that actually is what keeps that flame grows brighter and brighter when you know your superpower within that feminine realm, right? So for me personally, a few weeks ago, I went to a retreat. It's called the Haven Retreat for women who have been sexually abused in childhood. And they really want you to understand the connection between mind and body and whatnot. And so we had this experience to do some boxing and Muay Thai. So I enjoy exercising and hiking and being physical, and so I took advantage of that opportunity, and I'm in my workout clothes, and the coach has the mitts on, right? And I'm punching the lights out of that person. Like, I'm punching so hard in the first set, I feel like I'm going to throw up, because I am giving it my all. And it's for all of us, you know, we get into a point where sometimes that punching and helps us release things as well. We can get some anger out. So I was in a little bit of that space where I started to punch. I started to feel all the people who I have felt have taken away my voice. And so as I'm punching, I'm like, nobody gets to take away my voice. Nobody gets to take that away from me, because that's part of my superpower, right? So I'm punching and punching, and I'm feeling that super amazing physical energy, which I love, and which is I also have done a lot of hiking in the Grand Canyon, and have trained for that for months, and hiked from the North Rim to the South Rim 23 miles in a day. And so it reminded me of just that physical power, that whatever physical challenge we want to take on, then we can have the health, we can get that strength to do that. And it looks different for all of us. It doesn't have to be 23 miles. It doesn't have to be punching. Sometimes that physical power is just getting out of bed for the day and going for a walk around the block, and that's perfect. You know, but feeling your body, feeling the feminine strength in your body is critical. So I loved that experience. And right after I did that and felt all that super physical strength, I had to run upstairs and change my clothes into this, like this cocktail dress kind of thing that for me, in my background, being raised in a very highly religious culture, I've never worn anything like that kind of went down and showed a little cleavage, and like, that's a no-no. You can't do that, because then you're making men sin, because then they'll think that you're, you know, whatever. Then they'll start thinking about not eating because you can't expose your body. That's what we're trained to believe. Like, I'm controlling the men's thoughts because I'm not covering my body. So then I'm like, then, you know, it's my fault that they're they're going all over the place lusting after me. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so for me, being able to just step into that little dress, and then we had a makeover so we could see ourselves in our feminine beauty, and I put on my 4-inch heels because I love wearing heels. It's for me, it's empowering, and it's not for everyone, and that's why it's so beautiful that we each get our individual pieces.
Yes.
But for me, I was able to step into that and put those heels on and put on that little dress and totally embrace the physical romance of my body. Does that make sense? Like just the feminine power of it being attractive, and being okay with how I look and who I am from the outside in as well as the inside out. And we all look different, and we all have different body shapes and styles, and we all have different styles and ways that we dress, and every way is perfect. Every way is okay. I don't, and it's okay if other people don't want to wear 4-inch heels or cocktail dresses and don't feel powerful in that. But what is it that makes you feel powerful, and totally embracing that? So then I had my hair done and my makeup done, and I'm strutting down the hall in my 4-inch heels for my photo shoot, and it was the most awesome feeling, the intensity of the physical power when I'm sweating and I want to throw up and I'm punching my life out. I'm angry at the people who took away my voice, but then I was able to get over it, and then moving into this feminine power of just being beautiful, just completely accepting from the outside in and the inside out that we are all beautiful souls, and being able to just offer that piece of myself and that strength. And so when you look in the mirror, start seeing that beauty, and it doesn't matter what anyone else says, but that light is so strong within you that you get to embrace that.
Yes. Wow. This is so also inspiring, because it's not just for like men, like you mentioned, or we are responsible for what men feel and think, like
right.
Not for the man, for man, but it's beforehand, it's for us to feel and embrace its beauty, and also allow ourselves to be in our full, expression of our beautiful self, and look at the mirror and say, yes, this is who I am, right? And beforehand, it's for ourselves to feel that and to experience that.
Yeah, and that's a difficult journey. I mean, it is a difficult journey because we, as women, are battered down so much. We're battered down by our own self-worth issues. We're battered down by society, by people around us, and sometimes it feels like we can't even come up for air because there's so many expectations of us, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's super, super important to just take a step back and celebrate all of our little wins. Did I get up this morning? Did I get dressed? Yes. Was I nice to my kids? Yes. And what else do I want to do with my life, right? What is that next step? Where is that fire? And what do I get to do next? And it's totally okay if you have a day where you don't want to get out of bed, because sometimes we just need a break too.
Absolutely.
But still just being in that space of, we don't have to be super mom all the time. I'm not in my physical superpower every moment. That was an isolated incident, right? But I can feel that. I can accept that of myself, and I can keep moving forward with more goals and more dreams, and just taking those small steps and celebrate your wins. So important. And I think that's such a huge part of your journey. My personality is that I beat myself up really, really easily. Like, my mom, my stepmom was really kind when I was a teenager. She said, Natalie is so aware of her weaknesses, and she's always trying to do better. And I thought that was a very nice way to compliment how I beat myself up all the time. Because I'm a little too, and not everybody has it quite like that. But celebrating our wins and being able to see ourselves from a different perspective and saying, no, well, it's okay that I had that hard day. But it's also okay that my light still shines, and I get to light it a little bit more and feel it a little bit stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll have one more question about this, and then we'll wrap it up. I wonder, because I'm coming from completely different culture, and I know many women from different cultures are going to watch this interview. So my question is, like, what kind of cultural beliefs that you had to let go in order to be in your full power?
That's a great question. So let me just take a deep breath because
I know it's challenging, right?
yeah. Um, so my husband and I were both raised in a very, like I said, a very strict religious culture, and we just released ourselves from that about 3 years ago. And it was really, it was where we needed to be while we were there. And in many ways, especially when I was a teenager, it kept me safe because all that abuse came when I was like 9 or 10 years old. And so for me to be able to have those religious boundaries and strict boxes made me feel like I wasn't going to get hurt again, and also made me feel like that my children would be safe. But then I realized that wasn't necessarily true, because their life path is their life path, and whatever they experience, and sometimes in fact, a lot of times having those boxes will push them away, right? And so I just came to this understanding and conclusion that there's so much more for me than what existed inside the box, because the box consisted of many rules and a lot of guilt and shame if you didn't follow the rules perfectly. Mm-hmm. And then also a lot of judgment, going back to the beating myself up, judging myself constantly against all the rules. When mm-hmm. I finally realized that God, the universe, whoever is our power, sent us, like we came here to just be the best that we could be and to love. And what was shocking for me to finally understand was all those boxes were taking away my love, because instead of having this ability to love people, all I could see were rules, blinders. I'm kind of a black and white person anyway, so if we're not following the rules, then we get in trouble, and guilt and shame and hating myself, and I should be doing this or I should be doing that. Like, no. And I'm not saying, but there are no rules for character, right? There's propriety, there's character, there's integrity, there's all those things, but those things come from within, right? Mm-hmm. Not from an outside organization telling me what it has to look like. So when we released ourselves from that, all of a sudden I was able to love so much more fully, even myself, and have the freedom to see people more for the beauty of who they really are. I thought I was really good at that anyway, because I had grown so much, but then taking that next step was like, I don't use the term mind-blowing very much, but it was mind-blowing. Just because, anyway, of all the things that we say are sinful and all the things that we say are wrong. And so if drinking is wrong, then if you have a glass of wine with your friends for dinner, then you're a bad person. I mean, like, ridiculous things, you know. But now I'm just so excited to be in a new space, to work with people in a new space of freedom. Like, there's just so many possibilities, so much beauty. It doesn't matter to me who your God is, or if you have one, or if you don't believe in one. You have a light, and it shines brightly, and you have a purpose. And so I think that's my biggest lesson, is just to see that we don't need to have all those rules and boundaries, and that we still have this trust in humanity, that we can be the best that we can be because it's within us, and that beauty can just shine.
Wow. Yeah, this is so empowering, and it's so like opens our hearts to be ourselves, even for women who didn't grow up in like very conservative environment and religious environment. We still have so much like social conditioning of how we should be, you know, how we should do life and relationship, and how we should behave. There are so many shoots that we forget who we are and what our gifts and what our desires, right?
Right.
From that place. So it is so powerful to hear a story, because it is challenging to work with this material and say no to something that doesn't serve you, and say yes to something that you feel it's a great thing, and move forward with that and inspire others, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I like to talk about how we can all shine and help and inspire others, and if but some people feel like that's not my space. I'd rather be not very social behind the scenes. I'd rather be sitting and doing somebody's taxes because that's my thing. I love numbers, right? That's just as important. We don't all have to be out there talking and doing, but we all shine in wherever that gift is. And because we need people. I need somebody to do my taxes because I am not, right?
Yes.
That's not my gift. And so when just learning how powerful everybody's gifts are and how we, and you can still shine while you're doing taxes. And it is fun. I love to see my tax lady and how excited she gets about numbers, because I'm like, I don't get that, but it's still exciting for her, right? So, anyway.
Well, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for this amazing interview and sharing your wisdom, sharing your challenges, sharing your vulnerabilities, and being so open and transparent, showing up for who you really are and inspiring everybody and all the women around the world. The last question I want to ask is how people can find you. Is there like you have your website, or how people can find you and connect with you?
So right now I'm kind of going through a transition and I don't have a website, but you can find me on Facebook. It's Nathalie Bowman, Nathalie Bowman, Bowman, or you can email me at libermom7@gmail.com. That's LIB as in boy, ERMOM, the number 7 @gmail.com. And those are probably the easiest two. And then, so if you have questions or ideas or thoughts, I'd love to connect. Message me on Facebook, send me an email. And can I make a little offer for your friends?
Yes, of course.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So what I ordinarily, so the bonus that I want to offer you today is 3 just in-depth sessions for the price of 2. So what we will do is really talk about and get clear what you want to accomplish. If you know there's more for you, but you don't know exactly where to go, then I can help you figure that out. And we're going to go in and really figure out what's holding you back, where is all the dust in the corner and all that crazy programming that you don't even know what's going on. I can see that, and I can help. We can release that and let that go and set you on your new path and being able to create this new self-acceptance for you. So that would be 3 50-minute sessions for $300.
Wonderful.
So.
That's an amazing offer. Thank you so much. And I will share your contact information also.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. This has been such a joy, and I adore you. I'm so glad you're in my life, and I love what you're doing for women around the world.
Thank you so much, Nathalie. We'll talk more in the future, and for now I wish you a great day, and keep going, keep inspiring everybody, keep shining your light. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Bye.